I'll start the recording here. That's fine. Um, and so obviously I included those like graphics for you guys over the MFFU stuff. So there's a more easily digestible way for you guys to understand the differences between the starter and starter plus accounts. But I also was doing research on like tax information stuff. Now, obviously, like I can't give you any advice because I'm not a CPA, but I can share with you some of the resources that I was using to come to my conclusions and kind of the idea, right? It's actually not my resource, it's Fahrenheit. And it's a really great read, honestly, if you guys are trying to like, you know, build wealth and avoid paying taxes and like do like estate planning stuff. So if you guys want that, just like DM me and I'll send it over. But basically, the gist is when you create your LLC for trading, you want to elect that LLC as an S corp, so you can take advantage of the tax benefits that an S corp gets specifically with self-employment tax. Okay? So if you're making like more than $50,000 a year in ordinary income, um you will like be able to take your S corp, right, and pay yourself a salary and then also pay yourself like distributions, or like you can think of it as like dividends that like a um corporation would give to like shareholders, right? And so those dividends are basically taxed as uh just federal and state, but they don't include any of the FICA stuff like social security or insurance or anything like that. Or not insurance, sorry, Medicare and Medicaid, right? So this is mainly for when you're somebody who's making a decent amount of money and you're looking to find ways to save on taxes. Tag, that's a good one. But yeah, this isn't any tax fraud thing. It's 100% legal. Lots and lots of people do it. But yeah, the form that you fill out for all that is form 2553, right? And that changes your LLC's tax structure from, just being taxed as a sole proprietorship to being taxed as an S corp. And all an LLC is like a pass through entity where you're not actually taxing any of the income that the business makes inside the business. It just is a way that like the money passes through the business and then the taxes come out of your income from the business, if that makes sense. Do I have a bias? Yeah, I'm trying to get bullish. Right now it's more so neutral because we swept out sell side and we're kind of getting a bullish reaction here. As you can see, the 1 hour here actually held. So this is kind of what we would be basing our delivery off of. And we're trying to take an entry off of an obvious bearish gap. The only bearish gap that really exists is this 5 minute gap in premium of the range. So what I would like to see is like, if I'm going to take an entry, I would want to wait for like a confirmation setup versus just taking the 5 minute long here. Because if I take the 5 minute long, this is a setup way in premium and it has a lower win rate. Yeah, I do. I just invest in like indexes, and I have like a high yield savings account with an emergency fund, and obviously that's where I keep my um, money for taxes and that kind of thing. Yeah, Lejukes, yeah, it still came through. You're good. But do you file a 1099? No, you file I think it's a 1020-S when you go to file your S corp income, and then you file a W-2. Is it 1120? My bad. Something 20-S. It's a little bit more complicated than just like, paying your taxes for a sole proprietorship, or like Schedule C. So, like, what would make sense is for you to do this, and then at the end of your tax year, go talk to a CPA and figure it all out with them. But obviously, have the building blocks in place already. Have your S corp already created, have um, your knowledge already from the PDF, so that when you go and talk to them, you're not like just some bumbling idiot, right? So yeah, we did get to the 10-minute inverse. 10 minutes never going to be a time frame that I trade, but time is fractal. This looks like a pretty decent V shape. Obviously targeting the Enfield 5-minute. So you file as a tax for your business, not like self-employment. No, so you file it, right? So you can take the tax benefits of an S corp in your LLC, right? You file the form. But yeah, not financial advice. I don't know anything. I'm just 23-year-old. Do you need a specific accountant for trading? Nah, I just like any CPA you'll do. Not much to it. That's what you do. Awesome, Nate. Yeah, you're doing it right then. Lots of people do it for like majority like ordinary income businesses, right? Because I think it doesn't necessarily work for passive income businesses like rental properties or that kind of thing. But for any ordinary income, um, it's really good for that. Yeah, yeah. If we got a good, you know, confirmation set up Marwin, like we, came back down, swiped out the slow, and then got a long, maybe for sure. We have this 1 minute here. So this is just like a long in premium of the dealing range. Obviously, we're probably in discount at the daily range, but I just want something that's more textbook than this. Something that looks along the lines of this, right? Where we sweep a low and then get like a good V shape. Um, like this is what I want, right? Yeah, the low in the 4 minute, that low I just pointed out, right? Like if we got something like this where we come down here, we leave these relative equal highs here, kind of. We sweep this low, get a 1 minute inverse, back up. Like that could be good. No, the jukes. That's annoying. Yeah, for that 1 minute long, I mean, technically it never failed. A 30-second here held, and you'll go break even probably at the newly created high. We talked about break even trades, and technically this is your break even because this is a SIBI, right? But if you waited, I probably wouldn't have gone to break even until after this high gets hit. Obviously, your entry is going to be here, so if you got a poor entry or whatever it was, maybe you could stop break even. But yeah, nah, that's frustrating for sure. So we kind of have like a 30-second here, but the problem is we never got a liquidity sweep and we left equal lows there. So I'll probably wait for the liquidity sweep. At what point does the setup fail since every wick is a BPR? For this one, I feel like you can kind of combine these 30 seconds, and when that closes below, that's like the official fail. But it probably would have just been a break-even trade for me, right? Since the 1 minute here is valid, and then it comes up, taps the SIBI, and then just comes back, right? So this would have just been a break-even trade. Oh, yeah, Alex. What I do is I normally just base it off of the most obvious gaps, right, in the swing. So, like, this morning is kind of an interesting example of it because if you look, we have this 15-second BPR that fell that held after the initial inverse, right? So what I did is I kind of based this long entry off of the 15-second, and I only took it with like 2 micros. I took it light because it was fading the bias. And then when we came back up and V-shaped up, I added to my position. So this is kind of like an example of what you're talking about, right? So this is like a very obvious BPR, right? So here, depending on the type of trader you are, you can play it more conservative and take the loss, or you can play it a little bit more loose and wait. What I do is I play it a little bit more loose, but I just take less contracts. So like I don't end up missing the move, but if it does come back, you know, it's not like that terrible of a loss, right? And that way I'm able to take more entries, right? I find more opportunities doing that. So yeah, we did get the low. We could get the 30-second long here. But like here, in this example, I would just base it off of the initial inverse since there's not really any gap that would hold, you know. But you really want to only do that when like there's a major sell side target that we get and we V-shape right back up, right? And so we might get a pullback because there's an inefficiency present. But once that inefficiency is addressed, there's no reason why price should head lower than that. So like, I guess in this scenario here, I guess we came back to rebalance the 15-second here, even though it was technically already balanced on this. But as long as we held that, we were good, right? So this is the important gap that tells you about price, right? So when we talk about order flow, you kind of want to stop out when order flow gets flipped, right, Alex? So here, this gap sends us to a higher high. So this is our trigger for order flow. If we inverse this gap to the downside, we know that order flow is bearish. Here, none of these gaps made higher highs, obviously, until this point, but it kind of got disrespected beforehand. So with that idea in mind, this gap doesn't really have significance. So when it gets violated, it makes sense. But when price holds this gap, this is the significant gap, so we head higher. So basically, your stop should be off of whatever gap switches order flow, right? Like the 15-second this morning, right? This 15-second sent price to a higher high. So this is our tell for order flow. If we inverse this, then sure, that's when we can assume that price will head lower. But as long as we're holding it, then order flow is still bullish. So like right now, order flow is currently bearish as long as we're holding this 1-minute gap. So when this 1-minute gap breaks, you know, that would kind of be price telling, okay, we're going to go to this next inefficiency here, the 5-minute. And then once we tap the 5-minute, we go neutral. Okay. Now we have to wait for the 5-minute to break. Okay, we broke the 5-minute. Now we're going to go for the next high. Okay, we hit the next high. Now we're neutral again, you know. You just do that over and over and over again. So that's kind of how you can get away with like waiting for your stop instead of, you know, just taking that first like, you know, failed gap, because I don't know. Sometimes those IFEGs that fail don't actually tell you anything about order flow. Yeah, this actually looks like AMD now. Accumulate, manipulate up, distribute down. So now we have this 3-minute to the downside here, so if, or 4-minute, and it's a 3-minute. So if you're bearish here, like Vert, and you want to see the 4-hour, you could short this, right? It's technically going to become a unicorn model here because we have a bearish breaker plus an FEG. So this would actually be a textbook unicorn setup when the 3-minute closes in about 1.5 minutes. Are we donuts for not taking the 1-minute short? Nah, because we never hit the liquidity. So because we never swept the liquidity, it's not like textbook. This is just like a A- setup, I guess. But yeah, it did look like AMD for sure. Like maybe you take the entry here, go break even at the low, because we get the order block. This actually isn't horrible if you think about AMD in hindsight, right? But this is just a unicorn model here. This is like your textbook unicorn model. Breaker, FEG. Here, I'll restart. All right, is that better? But yeah, just so all of you know, I do have an appointment at 4:10, and it's like an hour drive for me to get there, so I'll probably get off stage at like 3:15. That's why I started early today. I made a little announcement about it about an hour and a half ago. No, 2 hours ago now. Oh! Alright. Well, there goes the unicorn model. Oh, okay. Alright, well, there's the 5 minute, finally. What happened? Oh, damn. Guys, do I chase? Yeah, there's probably news that just came out. I'm waiting for it. Oh, the press secretary is talking right now, so she probably said something. Data high? Oh, yeah. W trendline rejection. What the hell? Can I go over the unicorn again? Yeah, it just went over it, but it's basically whenever you have a breaker block that overlaps a FEG, and it's usually after the market maker model has been completed, and we sweep liquidity. So this is technically like a B setup unicorn model, but it's still like the mechanical entry model of the breaker overlapping the FEG. News was EU will not be receiving letters setting out higher tariffs from the US. So I don't know. I guess no tariffs on EU or something. Yeah, data high is protected, but also not really because this isn't. I guess on the 3 minute time frame it's protected when we get this candle close, but we need to see the swing get put in. So if we put in this candle, we need to wait one more candle and then we'll know it's protected. How long is this going for? Don't want to trade with these potential candles. I have no idea. It's going to be manipulated all week, tag, since this is like the tariff deadline week. And so there's going to be tariff news all week that's causing this. But it's okay because we're also getting a lot more volatility, which is going to make a lot more opportunities present. And as long as we just wait instead of sitting in the middle, we wait for an extremity to be swept, then we should be in good shape. Let's get rid of some of these rectangles and only leave the important ones. So right now it's probably this 1 minute and that 1 minute and the 5. Oops. But yeah, how was everyone's 4th of July weekend? How was the long weekend? What'd you miss? EU tariff news. How much did you miss? Not really anything, Shadka. We've just been kind of chopping ever since I hopped on stream. Wow, okay, so we have a 1 minute short here. It's technically mechanically A+. Subjectively, I don't think it's that good because we've already swept out sell side. But we technically have this 4 hour unfilled BISI below that could be the target. So I'm not going to take this, but it's definitely the mechanical A+ model. Me and my girl broke up. That's tough. Can't hear me if I'm speaking. Do I need to restart? No. Okay, so no inverse there. 15-second looks interesting. Wow, okay. So based off this momentum, I kind of already assumed that we're going to go for this high right now. I like how price respected this 1 minute. Is this a data wick? Sure. It's not really a data wick since it's based off like tariff news, but sure, it's a data wick. Why not? It's a good target. Looking for shorts when it hits that high? No. Nah, I'm bullish today because we already swept out sell side. Is this tradable? Not really. We got to wait for the extremity, I think, to be swept before trying to take something. But yeah, no, my 4th of July weekend was pretty fun. We went up to Bay City in Michigan, which is like right in the like armpit of the thumb, if you think about that. And I don't know, we were hanging out by the water, having drinks, and I don't know, just doing our thing. But yeah, this is FOMC week, so Wednesday will be a free stream, so that should be good. No, it's not Cap. Well, then Dodgy's schedule guy is wrong because he said that FOMC was this week. Oh yeah, we have FOMC meeting minutes at 2, but it's not the actual FOMC. He's just wrong. Okay. Yeah. I just checked. I just checked financial juice. So yeah, the 1 minute short just worked to the low. Probably going to be a break-even trade if I had to guess. I took the short this morning. I thought it was great. So yeah, this 1 minute would have been a break-even trade. Oh wow, okay. So this is a pretty interesting 30-second back up. This is probably A plus. Oh, we didn't get it. Mechanically, it's A plus. Subjectively, I don't know. Order flow is kind of all over the place right now. How? Liquidity sweep V shape. What? No delivery? Delivery from the 15-second to the left here. Oh, why did we inverse it? Ah, well, it's still good enough. We're technically delivering off of this 1 hour gap to the left anyway. We're still respecting it. But yeah, we never got the inverse, so it doesn't matter. Now it's not A plus because it's not V shape. Nah, this 30-second short was so good. Like, I see what you guys are saying, but like, I'm still taking this even at all-time highs. This is so much momentum. We're getting order blocks. Like, I would take this on a funded. If this lost, I would say this was a good loss. If Dodgy said if this lost and Dodgy said that, I would disagree with him about shorting at all-time highs because we had so much generated liquidity and this was such good momentum, and it was like instantaneous V shape. What time is stream ending? I'm thinking 3:10, but let me check to see how far away my appointment is. Like, actually, I'm pretty sure it's 45 minutes, but I could be wrong. So yeah, it's 48 minutes away. So yeah, I'll probably let me see when my appointment is. Okay, 4:20. So yeah, I'll probably leave here at 3:15 just to be safe in case of traffic. So we'll probably wrap up at 3:15 today. That's why I got on early. Bottom G, how much is Vert paying you? One Apex account. Yo, W trade jujitsu. Nice. Honestly, I'm throwing jujitsu on the stage before Vert at this point. He actually takes payouts. Would the 1 minute bullish be valid? No, no. I probably wouldn't take the 1 minute here. Um, what would I need to take? What would I need to take? There's not really a good gap here. Yeah, I'd probably still just be waiting for the 5 minute here. We need to see this 1 minute too get inversed, this BPR. Alright, so it's back to being bad. So we probably just have to wait for the macro in order to get something. At this point, I think dream scenario is just for price to run down here, snag the low, and then V-shape back up. Maybe we get a soup. Maybe we go for the 4 hour, whatever the case is. I don't want to be in this, inside the range here at all before I take a trade. If price starts to get animated again and we start to push up and then we get like a V-shaped confirmation, that'll still be fine too, but you know. Okay, we swept the low, broke the SMT, but created a new SMT, I think. So this gap doesn't matter anymore. The 15-second gap doesn't matter. So now it's probably just these gaps. Yeah, like another A setup if we got this here in the next candle or two. We're about to close the 4 hour. Yep. About to close the 4 hour. Might inverse this 1 hour to the downside. If we inverse this 1 hour to the downside, I think I'll be married to the 4 hour. As long as we're holding it, though, I'm not going to care about it too much. Because if we inverse this 1 hour to the downside, that tells us order flow is very bearish. Very, very bearish. We've been using this 1 hour gap for a minute now to support price. Yeah, but the Lava Hound sucks, Bert. Talk to me when it's a minor card. Or like, what would be another good one? 9 million firecrackers. Yeah, I have Evo Firecracker. Everyone has an Evo Firecracker. I haven't played Clash in like 2 years. But I remember when I was playing, I was definitely paying to win, and that was definitely one of the cards that I got pay to win. I used to play. I would play Firecracker, Mega Knight. Um. Oh God, what was my other thing? I don't. Yeah, I literally don't remember. Mega Knight, Firecracker. I think I was probably running like a cycle card, like Goblin Gang or something, or maybe it was just skeletons or something. I know I had a tower on there, and then like Knight, and then maybe a couple spells. I think that was my deck, like Fireball, Log. But I know the meta's changed like quite a bit. So swap Princess for um oh no, swap Dark Goblin for the other one. The Firecracker, and you're in good shape. Evo Dart is meta. I don't know anything. What level am I even? Fine, I'll re-download Clash. Everyone's been telling me to play Clash. All right, let's get some more trading related stuff. Going on in here. Anyone have any questions about what I'm looking for right now? Why I'm looking for it? Any questions about earlier? Basically, this morning the 30-second short was the best trade. It's what you should have taken to get green on the day, and then you should have been done. Me, I was stupid. I tried to force setups to get my payout, and so I was just taking longs and discount and shorts and premium. So I took this long, I took this long, I took that short, I took that long, I took this short. It's stupidity. Just like a million different trades that all got break even. And then I actually ended up fading the winning short trade, which took us to the lows, which was this 30-second short. If you took this was a really good eval play, I think. Because we swept the equal highs, bearish, turtle soup reaction there, good momentum candle, lots of liquidity below. So this was a good trade. I think both of these shorts were like probably the best trades of the day. This short up here was also very good if you took it the 1 minute. This got me slightly more green, right? Like I think I took this with 3 micros and then I sold one here, and then I calculated it so that the last 2 would pass, but then it came, or I forget what happened. I think I like cut the trade early or something and it just didn't get me there. But yeah, I was like win. I probably took a loss in here somewhere, win, and then the rest of them were break even. And so like I'm only up like I think $300 and something on the day. But yeah, I over traded today. Today was definitely not one of my better days. I always get like this when I get close to payout too. Like I just want to like grab the last 10 points of the last 1 hour I need. No, 300 on 5 accounts. 300 on 5 like each account. It's a good day. But like I needed to make 500 in order to get the payout, so I'm like super close. I asked Dodgy about taking the last 2 minute. What last 2 minute? This one? This was good. This one, not so good. 30-second triggering? Oh yeah. But it's not as V shape. This is still like probably an A minus setup. Good eval trade probably. What am I on eval trades that I've said are good? Like 0 for 2 right now, so maybe this is the winner. Let's see. All we need is like 10R and we're back. You're waiting for the White House press briefing to end. True. Yeah, I think that's almost done. 933 long that failed. The 933 long I took, I just never stopped on it. So my thoughts are probably bad. The reason I didn't stop is because we had that 15-second below that was holding. I just took it really light, and then I averaged up in the position here. And then I took a long here also. And then I don't think I took this short. I don't think I took that long either. And then I took that short. Or maybe I did take this short and I lost, like here. I don't remember what I did. I know I took a loss. I just don't remember what it was. I have to go back on my MFFU accounts and check. Yeah, this 1 minute long was a good trade. Like, I definitely think it was probably a loss, and I probably just held it because, I don't know, I'm stupid. But I did watch the 15-second, and that was my condition. So if it broke, that would have been when I took the loss. But obviously, the risk reward on it just wasn't as good. But I wasn't trying to target, just to the high there. I was going to try and target like a full-fledged reversal. I was actually going to try and target this. So it would have been worth it, but it just never happened. I thought this would have been our Judas down. And then we were just going to reverse and pump the rest of the day like we have been at all-time highs. But then obviously that whole idea changed when we just started to range. And then when I saw that price came up here and suit this high, this is when I knew we were seeking destroy. And so I kept trying to attack this low, knowing that we were seeking destroy, but we kept getting SMTs here. And so we could just never get the low. That wasn't even really an inception gap because it wasn't even the swing that inversed the gap. It was like just like a BPR. Right? The reason why I use this one is because it was so obvious. And it sent price to a higher high. So I knew that this was a significant gap that told us a lot about order flow. Whereas the 1 minute that we inversed actually didn't really tell us a whole lot. Right. What about the 3 minute short? Yeah, this was good. This was really good. 3 minute short, 2 minute short, all those shorts were good after we swept the high. I thought the 1 minute was interesting because you could have just gone break even at the next gap there. But I think that would have ended up being a break even trade, so. Yeah, there was a lot of interesting games for sure. Dude, $40 for one card? Goodness, dude. Yeah, if you guys lost on the 1 minute, like that's a fine loss. I think overall the bias was probably bearish, so like you just faded the bias there, and you took a long off an insignificant gap, so that's why it lost. Because this gap didn't really actually tell us anything about order flow. That's why I wasn't using it for the stop. What I did use for the stop was the gap that told us order flow, right? Did Dodge take this one? Nah, he took the 30-second short and he was done for the day. That's what I should have done. I should have just taken that because I think I'd be at the exact same spot as I am in right now after that 30-second short, and I wouldn't have had to add any more risk or take any more dumb trades. Now I just took a bunch of trades which are going to affect my win rate unnecessarily. Like today was a bad day probably for me. Today was probably a red day on the calendar. The psychology calendar or whatever it is. Today would probably be a red day for me. Not jujitsu. I'm not losing today, but I'm saying like psychologically. I'm actually green today. I'm very green. I gotta go look at my MFFU calendar actually after today to see how many winning days I've had in a row. I'm really getting close to that live account status. I might talk to one of my MFFU people and ask them what'll happen if I blow up these accounts before I get pushed to live, because I don't know how close I am to that threshold. Is there a pay? I think it caps for sim at 80K. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like I'm getting close to that. Lejukes, yeah. Well, the thing is, I would always intentionally mess up the account so that I wouldn't get moved off sim because it's just like it's just downhill from there. Like you have to like pay, um, whatever. I don't think they've done it yet, payroll. But yeah, once you go to 5, that would be awesome. But I'm not even going to be able to take advantage of it. That's all going to be you guys. I think Morrowind it like caps at like around 80K. That's what I've heard on sim funded requests, but it's not like a hard rule. Like I don't actually know what the amount is. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about MFFU, just check the PM prop firm links. It's all in there. I don't want to talk about it too much. I've talked about it probably too much. I just sound like an infomercial guy now. Yeah, for sure, payroll. They're pretty good. Easiest payout process in my opinion. Oh, we might get the 30-second here. Okay, so like we're in the macro. We're technically still respecting the hourly gap here. This is pretty good momentum candle. Like I think I'm probably going to stick with the rating of A minus. This is a good eval trade. Maybe I take this on my evals if I have any. So there's the close there. So technically the entry. Break even will be here. You guys all heard me say if I had any evals, I would take this. So this is like my first official alert. Like this is an actual eval trade. Go up. Pump it, macro, pump it. Do we have like an unfilled 5? No. 2? No. Yeah, there's nothing unfilled. It's a good target though, high inside of a gap. I hope this isn't a break even. I'd rather it be a loss or a win. Because this would be a stupid break even. What, we're just going to like get stuck at this 1 minute gap and not head any higher? This is so chopped. This is so chopped. We just go up, come down. Wick, go up, come down. This 1 minute gap needs to hold. For sure. I'd probably stop out if we violated it. The reason why this isn't a good funded trade is because we just aren't delivering from like the extremity of the range. But this is a good eval trade because of the momentum. We're in the macro, and then obviously like I want to be bullish bias here. So when we have a fair value up that shows history and is being respected, and then that gets inversed, allowing us to put in order blocks and whatnot, that's a good sign that we'll probably head higher. So this probably has a win rate of like 55%, but we want to take like 60 plus, 70 plus percent for funded. Briefing over. Sick. Cool. So now we should be done with the manipulation. Price is bad? Yeah, for sure. I feel like one of these times is just going to rip. I would do like TPs at this high and this high. And that would be it for the eval. Half off, half off. Something like that. Bro, chickening out again. Are we so for real? Oh my gosh, he's delaying the tariffs again. Bro literally has zero leverage. What? What's the point? What's the point of making the threats if you're just going to delay it? Like, he's just doing it to manipulate the market at this point. He calls his buddies. He goes, "All right, I'm going to say some tariff news real quick. Hop in shorts." And then he's like, "Yeah, never mind. Hop in longs." Like, what are we doing? We have an SMT, I think, at this high that we're targeting for the break even. So maybe that's why we're struggling to get there. Yeah, we do have an SMT there. Go up, go up. Bruh. Technically a break even. We put in a high and reswept it, but we haven't hit the break even point I want. So, because it's an eval, I probably wouldn't go break even, like, and be that conservative. I'd probably wait for the next high there. So, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, we just blast up. There is an S&T. Yep, mentioned that. I don't really care about the SMT because it's not like an obvious like good one. It's just like an internal high one. If it was like at the extremity like it was this morning, I might care about it more. Like on all those trades where we missed the external low, that's, you know, obviously you want to get break even before that. All right, break even hit. Let's go. So that's where I would actually go break even, and then I would just try and hold for these TPs pretty far away. This is probably going to be a break even trade because we're not really seeing a whole lot of momentum, but we're still during the macro, so it technically could start pumping at any time here. Really want to see this 1 minute gap get inversed. That would confirm higher prices for sure. And break even. Great. So break even no matter what there. I guess how many of you guys took that on eval? Okay. So yeah, like just a momentum play. Not really anything that great. Probably an A minus setup. Oh, yeah. So, okay. Right now, order flow on the higher time frame is probably bearish. Or, no, it's neutral on the higher time frame, but lower time frame is probably bearish. Because we're respecting this 5 minute gap above. This 1 minute gap here has been holding. We've just continued to respect bearish PD arrays until this point where we came down. We swept this low. And then we inversed these 30-second gaps to the upside that were holding price down. So when we got that with decent momentum, I was like, you know, this is probably okay for an eval trade. It's not like an A plus setup at all, not even an A setup, probably an A minus setup, but it's okay for an eval. So when we get this inverse, we assume that order flow is bullish until this high, which is a high inside of a bearish gap. And then once we hit that high, we don't know what order flow is anymore. We go neutral, and so that's why we move our stop to break even, and then obviously it's a break even trade. And I didn't know that price was going to start chopping. I assumed that we were going to get acceleration during the macro, And then, for some reason, price just started chopping after 2, after the press briefing finished. So, just it is what it is sometimes. When you enter a trade, you assume momentum is going to be good because of certain factors, and then all of a sudden it just starts to chop. There's, you just have to kind of play it out at that point. Just like a trade or break-even trade here, trade boy. Yeah, for sure, Con. But yeah, like right now, I would say order flow is pretty bearish because we're continuing to disrespect bullish PD arrays, respect bearish ones. And every single time we move up here, we just get like a really bearish reaction to liquidity being swept. So what that tells me is we probably need to see this low get hit and then maybe a long. But because we're at all-time highs, I'm not going to be married to any sell side. So like whenever we do get an obvious setup, I'll still take it. How do you differentiate between A plus, A, and A minus trades? Yeah, so kind of going back to this whole idea of bias, momentum, time model, that's really how I do it. Bias is necessary for any trade. So we know what bias is on the lower time frame here because we have the draw, which is relative equal highs, and we have order flow, which was bullish when we inversed inside dealing range, was bullish when, I'll just say it was bullish when price inverse 32nd. Okay, so there's our bias, right? Momentum was not great, but not horrible, so I'd give it like 5 out of 10. And then time was obviously we were in the macro, and then model was like B setup. Okay, so combining all of those things, okay, we have the bias. That's like the prerequisite. So this doesn't really affect the rating at all. And then momentum affects the rating quite a bit. So if we have good momentum, but we're like missing the model or we're outside of the macro, it can still be an A setup. But here it didn't really have that much of an impact. So like assuming with bias and momentum, we're at like a B right now. Okay, in the macro, okay, that affects the trade a little bit. It probably adds like 2 letter, grades to the trade. So because it's in the macro, it probably makes it an A minus. And then the model itself wasn't great, but the model doesn't really affect it too much. As long as you have like 2 components. So here we had bias and time. And so that kind of is what makes it an A minus setup because we didn't really have momentum and we didn't really have the model. Does that make sense? So whenever you have 2, that makes it like an A minus or worse setup when you have bias and then one other thing. And in order to make it A, you need like bias and momentum or like bias, momentum model, bias, time model, that kind of thing, right? And then for A plus, it's like all 4. Sometimes you can get away with like the model being an A setup, right? Mechanically, like let's say we get like a really good V shape, but we don't sweep liquidity, or we sweep the extremity of the range, but it's not a singular gap. Like that can be like an A model setup, but it's just not A plus because it doesn't meet all the criteria of a mechanical model, right? So, that's pretty much how you do it. If you have bias, momentum, time, and then some semblance of a good model, that's an A plus setup, right? If you have bias, momentum, and then the model, that's like an A setup. If you have bias, time, and the model, that's like an A setup. If you just have 2, then that's like A minus. But you need bias, and then you need like one of these 2, momentum or time. Does that kind of help? There's like a whole... Do all 4 have equal? No, bias is the most significant. That's why it's like the prerequisite. Momentum is like, it's in order of most importance, right? So bias is most important, momentum, time, model, right? I'm pretty sure I've broken this down in the past. I don't remember what stream it was, but I did a better job in the past of like really breaking it down. Breaking down all the different pieces of the equation. Do I still trade Apex? Yeah, I still trade Apex. That's what I'm trading right now, actually. So I'm done for the day with MFFU. Same, Zebby. I'm banned from buying more evals. We inverse the 4 hour. Does that make us bearish? Nah, as long as we're holding this 1 hour. Which we're still holding. Are we doing eval passing on Wednesday? It's FOMC meeting minutes, Nolan, not the actual press conference. So, no. Also, we don't really do eval passing during FOMC because the FOMC data doesn't really give us enough volatility like how CPI and NFP do. Doesn't look like any trades anytime soon. Yeah, probably not. Maybe, you know, as we come into 3 o'clock, we'll get something, but unfortunately I have to get off early. So I tried to, you know, get us a trade before then, but I'm not going to force a setup while we're just chopping, making a barcode like this. This NFP was bad. I don't remember it being that bad, but then again, I don't think I was here for it. Yeah, I wasn't here for it because of my my power. By the way, my power went out again yesterday. I posted it in the PM chat, but yeah, literally I've lost my power 4 times in the last 6 weeks or something like that. And 3 times in the last 10 days. Yesterday was because of wind damage. We had like a 10-minute storm and it like knocked it out for 4 hours. I'm going to talk today to my landlord to get a generator, I think. See if they're cool with that. Because I can't afford, like, to be off stream. Or, like, my girlfriend works from home, too. Like, it's affecting our jobs, right? So, I can't afford to be in a trade and lose power. Like, that would be horrible. You know? You took the 3-minute short, which is up 44 points, targeting the low, which was 2R for me, and I missed TP. Oh, yeah, I would for sure scale. Yeah, definitely tag. I tried to scale this morning, but the problem was I kept trying to target exactly how much I would need in order to pass the accounts, and I wasn't really considering... Like, I was just trading emotionally this morning, so I was being stupid. That's basically the gist of it. Whenever you get the SMT tag. So, like, what I would do there is I'd probably just scale more than usual. You know, like, I'm not going to risk 44 points for an extra 1 point. You know, that's just silly risk to reward, right? Yeah, so right now, price is just kind of chopping between these two 1-minute gaps. So I'm guessing which one breaks will tell us order flow. But yeah, Tag, it's definitely like more of an in the moment thing. Like you just kind of have to notice it or notice it happening. Like this morning when we got this V-shaped reaction, I noticed that we got the SMT. And then I also noticed the SMT here. And I was typing in the chat. I was like, careful, guys, we have an SMT here, right? So that's kind of what's nice about being in the streams and you know, whatever, is people will kind of call things out for you. And, you know, maybe make you notice things that maybe you didn't notice, right? Yeah, for sure, Tag. Yep. I lost my girlfriend and I's Snapchat streak today. Our streak is like 1,400 days. So I had to pay the stupid dollar to restore it. Feel like scaling early can be a slippery slope though. Like when do you decide to scale? I would scale. I'd feel okay with scaling Tag anytime after 1R. So if we have an SMT after 1R's been hit, then I would feel okay with scaling there. If it's not 1R, then I probably wouldn't scale, even with the SMT. Does that make sense? So that's kind of how you can like manage your slippery slope case, right? If it's not 1R, maybe don't scale. If it is, okay, maybe consider it. Even if it is like 5 points away from the low, right? You know how to get them back for free? It's okay, I'll just pay the dollar. Appreciate it, dude. Yeah, I remember that, EJ. Would you ever trail in that case? Yeah, maybe. Just trail it above places where price shouldn't violate, and if that gets violated, then obviously it's order flow. Like in this scenario here, if you were in a long, I would have my stop trailed below the FEG. If that gets violated, then obviously we know we're going to head lower, because that's what order flow tells us here, right? Because we're continuing to respect bearish PDRAs and disrespect bullish ones. So maybe this is where we'll finally get our setup, where we'll come down here, run the lows, and then V-shape back up. Okay, okay. All right, okay, we got the low. Phone down, everyone. Lock in. All right, yeah, so we might get a 3-minute inverse back up here. Did we get the 4 hour? Nope, no 4 hour. Okay. Okay, okay. We didn't really get a good gap. That sucks. I guess we have a 2-minute or a 1-minute. I guess I'd probably use the 1-minute here. This kind of sucks, because, like, I would have wanted it down here. And we left an equal low. No. Oh, okay. It's not that important. What is it, with, like, a random low to the left? Yeah, it's just a random low. Okay, so the equal low really doesn't matter too much. All right, so if we get this 1 minute back up, it'll be A+. So hopefully we get it. This will be my trade for the day, I guess. Target this wick, our data wick or whatever. How much? This is 7R. There's no chance we get this. Why are we looking for longs after inverse in the 1 hour? Because we didn't inverse the 1 hour. We actually held it. But this is still the 1 hour candle, so it hasn't been inversed yet. Yeah, for sure, Bob, though. 4 hour inverse the downside, but who cares? I think since we're not even, coming back up here, this isn't even a V shape, it makes some more sense to go hit the 4 hour first. So I guess we'll wait for that, and then hopefully we can create like a fair value gap on the way down here. Like this 1 minute would be amazing. We could definitely get it. We could get it. This could be it. This is dream scenario. Marwin, actually, you know what I should do? I should just do that, because we don't take losses here. So there's not even a point for me to have the risk to reward there. I mean, every trade is just a 35R trade. Like, oh, sorry, 254R trade. Right? We don't lose. So what's the point of even having the stop? Okay, where do you want me to draw it? Like here, is that more realistic? Okay. Did we get the 4 hour? Nope. Almost. Almost. Wouldn't 2/3 minute be better now? Yeah, probably the 3 minute. Yeah, the 3 minute. Yes. Yes. If we get this 3 minute, I'm taking this with 1,000,000 contracts. Okay, David. That's stupid. Or not David. Dave. Yo, what's going on? I'm taking this 3 minute long with a million contracts. My headphones were off. Did we hit it? Low is 813.25. Okay, we hit it now. Sick. Whoa.
Hey, Becco.
You taking this 3 minute long? I'm done for the day. I already took the 30
No,
second.
I'm bearish.
You're bearish? Oh.
Yeah.
But we just hit the 4 hour bullish gap. Last gap in the leg. Even though this.
Yeah, I still think he's dumping. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
God. This kind of does look like a sell model. No. We got the daily OB. We'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll hop on that train if we inverse this 4
Isn't
hour.
it crazy? Isn't it crazy how I'm bullish, and then the one day I'm bearish, we dump?
It's pretty crazy.
Isn't that crazy how good I am, bro?
Weekly PO3 or something.
Everyone's like, "Why are you bearish today?" I'm like, bro, I just feel it in my veins.
Okay.
Low key. All right. Oh, see you guys.
See ya. Wow. What a day. No entry, no entry, no entry, no entry. Actually, there was an entry. Yeah, I wouldn't take the 30 second here. I would just take the 3 minute. I guess maybe if we got like a 2 minute up here, like this 2 minute, you could take the long and then go break even at the next gap, but that doesn't really tell you anything about order flow. 5 minute? Oh yeah, 5 minutes the cleanest. Yeah. So yeah, we'll take the 5 minute if we get it. And then the risk to reward is horrible. Oh well. $1 to the data high. Let's go. We would literally just... Oh, it's almost 2R, actually. That's not bad. But I have to actually draw it realistically, so let me draw it. There we go. That's more realistic. It'd be a break even? Yeah, probably. Although, I probably have to move this up for Marwin, too, because, you know, a realistic close on the inverse. So there we go. That's probably the most realistic risk-reward box I've ever drawn. TP at internal high? Yeah, probably. I'd probably take first off there for like, you know, I'd probably take half off here and then, I don't know, maybe like the rest here and then hold a runner for the high. That seems like good risk reward. Three-minute? I think I'm going to go off the 5 minute here. Yeah, it could be a sell model dep or not dep or vert, but I think I need the 4 hour to get inverse in order to confirm that. Because at all-time highs, we can just like retrace that last gap in the leg and then do something like this where we just shoot right back up, right? And it can look like a sell model, right? Like here, where we violate this 4 hour, you know, we come down, we run the low, but then, you know, we can also just react to the gap and then go right back up. But then you could be like, oh, this is actually our manipulation leg here, right? So here's accumulation, here manipulation. Maybe we're going to start distributing here. So I don't know. I mean, maybe we go down. We definitely need a pullback of some kind here, right? Because we're probably going to put in this weekly gap here this week, and then we'll probably come back to it. But I don't know. Maybe short-term reaction to the 4 hour here could be good for the 5 minute long. So we got the 5-minute gap. Here it is. This will be our play of the day. What just happened? Okay. We went to DXY, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to remove every other rectangle off the chart, every line, every anything, because this is all that matters. This is all that matters. We actually probably have a setup forming right now on the 2-minute or 3-minute here. Yeah, 3-minute long. Where you could, if you want to be aggressive, if you think this is going to be our V-shape back up, you could enter in the 3-minute here and then go break even at this gap. What's wrong with the 1-minute? It just doesn't tell us anything about order flow. Like now that we've gotten it. You're taking a 1-minute long into a 3-minute SIBI, so you just don't know if this is going to be like the V-shape. Obviously it looks good though. The 1-minute alerted it, cool. Or the indicator alerted it, cool, cool. It's also like, where would you go break even here for this 1-minute long? I guess the gap above, right? 3-minute is risky, but yeah, the risk reward is way better. So like, okay, here's a setup, right, on this 3-minute. It probably wins 60% of the time. Or no, maybe like 50% of the time, and it's 6R, okay? And then you have this trade, which is 1-to-1, and it wins like 100% of the time. So it's kind of up to you, whatever you want to do. This is a 60% win rate, 40% loss rate. This is like 100% win rate. Guaranteed 1-to-1. This is like, I don't know, 5R or whatever, but you're going to scale on the way up. So it'll probably end up being like 3R. So 3R is 60% win rate, 5R, 100%. Or not 5R, 1R, 100%. Didn't get the close there. Thoughts on this possibility of respecting the lower quadrant of the last 4-hour leg up as confluence here? I have no idea what that means. Is that ICT? I must have missed that part of the mentorship. Maybe that's 2025. It's 2022. Yeah. I know that, but I didn't know that we worried about quadrants and that kind of thing. 30-second? Okay. Yeah, so like here's that example, right? So the 1-minute long, we just got alerted by the indicators about to get wrecked, right? And I just explained why. It's because this 3-minute gap is going to be a more important tell of order flow. So the fact that we didn't inverse this 3-minute up tells us a lot more about price than this 1-minute getting inversed. Does that make sense? So that's why we don't take this 1-minute. For those of you asking, what's wrong with this 1-minute? Yeah, for sure, Lil D. Absolutely. That's good to know. I'm the cheapest Discord, but I provide the most value. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. K trades. Awesome. That's what I'm saying, Dapper. I thought $50 a month was expensive. I'm about to raise my prices. Make it $500 a month. Who would pay $500 a month to be in PM? One. Well, Zevi, you're here for free, so if I have 20 people say they'll stay at $500 a month, it's the same thing as right now, right? You know, if I have 200 people paying 50. Now this 1 minute is much better, isn't it? Yeah, I'd say so. Oh yeah, true, Zevi. Yeah, you get it included in the mentorship. My apologies, it's not free. Lewis, I think charges 160 or something. No. I think he charges like 80, right? I don't know. Yeah, for sure, Vert. No, I'm gonna keep it this way. I like $50 a month. It's really really solid spot to be at. It's good value, as the other person said. Manipulation leg, yeah, yeah. Manipulation leg down, V shape back up. Or maybe we're just like coping, and this is actually the sell model, like Dodgy said, and we're just going to keep heading lower and lower and lower and lower with no entry, unless we take like the 30-second short here, I guess. But then we'll probably get break even down every short because we'll just react to the low being swept, and there will be an SMT, and we'll just come right back up. Still unfilled 5. Yeah, I don't care. 4 hours good enough for me. Oh, okay, Bobble. Actually, I think the Camry is better than the Prius, but that's just me. Maybe I'll upgrade the Camry to the TRD from the SE. Get a Yaris. They don't have those in the States. Oh, wait, yeah, they do. Yeah, but I don't want to buy an old one because I don't think they sell the newer ones that come out. GR Corolla. Yeah, GR Corolla. I saw one the other day. It was nice. But do I really want to spend $45,000 on a Corolla, or would I rather just wait 2 more years and buy a C8 for the same price? You know, buy a Tesla. Yeah, I could buy a Tesla. Yeah, or the AMG GT. That's really what I'm going off of. But I'm not. That's not going to happen for 2 years. I'm either going to get the C8 or the AMG GT, or just invest in real estate and be smart and just keep the Camry. 1 minute long. Yeah, so this is actually the good RR setup. Like if you wanted to, it's gonna get break even actually every time. I lied. It's still a 30-point stop. So yeah, no, I don't think I would take this after looking at it. I'll still just wait for the 5 minute. So just so you guys know, I am gonna end stream early today, probably at like 3:15. Hopefully we can get this 5 minute long before then, so we can get our winning trade, and it's not like I'm, getting off before the trade actually triggers. But yeah, I just have an appointment at 4 that I have to get over there for. Why wouldn't I take this 1 minute? I mean, you can. It's just going to be a break-even trade like 90% of the time. And the risk to reward on it is pretty rough to the break-even target. So 30-point stop, 7-point to the break-even. It's good risk to reward to the high, but it's not like as good, as the 3 minute. That's 4R. If you take the 3 minute trade, it's like what? This could actually be where a unicorn model sets up now that I think about it. So like here is textbook A+ unicorn model if we got it. 3-minute gap forms here. We have the bullish breaker. If we close over this, we'll have a bullish OB. This will be the perfect 3-minute unicorn setup. Yeah, I think if we actually blast above the 3-minute here, that's what's worth the shot. Because here we'll be getting a breaker, an order block, a fair value gap. This is like textbook SMR here. We have our manipulation leg. We kind of soup to the low. So this here would be good. I don't think I would long until the 3-minute gets inversed. The 1 minute, you're kind of like internal versus external. Previous hourly low to previous hourly high. Maybe, if we chop around for a bit longer, but I think we're getting a reversal right now. But unfilled 5 minute though, I guess. Like if you want to take the 1 minute long to the unfilled five, I'm just telling. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a break even trade, unless we inverse the 3 minute after we, hit the high on the 1 minute. Yeah, sure, Tamby. All right, I'm back. Is that better? Can you guys see my screen? Yeah, I've been denied, I think, 2 Apex payouts. And all you have to do in order to, basically earn him back is trade another 8 days, request the profit that you made trading the subsequent 8 days, and then your account is put back into like a neutral or like good standing state. And then once you just trade another 8 days after that, so 16 total days, you'll just be able to request that original amount that you had problems with. Does that make sense? Yeah, it definitely is. They're definitely the most difficult to get a payout with, but would you ever take this 3 minute and then go break even at the 5? No, because the 5 is like so close. I'd probably just go break even at the 3 minute above. So like enter here, break even here, target here, first TP, second TP. But yeah, I mean, okay. Now that we're talking about it a little bit more, maybe we get a starter position going with like the 1 minute here, and we do like 2 contracts, and then we add to it when we inverse the 3. Okay, yeah, that's good momentum too. What's final TP? Probably the data high that we formed at 130. I'll probably take this 1 minute light. Like starter position. Maybe like a contract or 2. As long as we don't hit the high first. If we close up here, forget it. It's too high. Yeah, it's too high of a close now. Also, SMT at this high. ES took it. All right, we're going to get the close. So there's the close. You could try and enter there and just hope you don't get break even. But if I had to guess, this is going to be a break even trade like 99% of the time. Did we get the 3 minute? No, not yet. We have the 3 minute in about 30 seconds. So, just so you guys know, did not enter that. Still just waiting. What am I going to take? I might take the 3 minute here. Because I like how this is an SMR. But it has to be a good close. And so far, it doesn't look like it's going to close. Did not close. Great. So, no 3 minute inverse. Yeah, this lower one. Now, I don't know. If we start to blast past the 3 minute, it's more of a risk to reward play. So, I didn't really want to see price blast past here and make worse risk to reward in the 3 minute. I would have rather seen like a good close on this candle and then, gone from there. Because now the problem is if we wait till the next candle to get the 3 minute, the momentum's going to be bad. Which the whole idea behind this is, okay, we're taking the momentum play. We're taking this, off the break or off the OB. If we have no momentum, then what's the point of taking the 3 minute? If you take the 1 minute with one contract, I would cut like down here when we reviolate the 1 minute gap in series, right? We have 1, 2, 3 1 minute gaps, but I'm not in this trade, so. But yeah, if you're in this with one contract, just like if when we come back below here, so I guess that it would be like a $70 loss, and you try to target like here for however many R that is, like 2R. Since it's just one contract, you're just trying to complete the market, make your model here. You're not trying to go for the home run, which is here. Maybe we get a 30-second confirmation. Yeah, if we got a 30-second confirmation, I might be interested in that, but I don't know. I like that we're not hitting the break even yet. So what might happen here is we might stall for a bit before hitting the break even, and then a nice pump candle just gets us through, and then this ends up not being a break even trade. That could definitely happen. Let me see my TPs. Yeah, so for 1R for this trade, you could TP at like, I don't know, there's not really a good TP, but basically I'm watching this 3-minute gap for a reaction. We're also tapping on this 5-minute. By the way, the break even just hit for that 1 minute. And then we're about to tap into this 5-minute cibby here. And then my TPs that I have laid out would just be at this high, right? And then the data high. So those are kind of be where I put my two TPs: 881 and 930. We're kind of pumping here. This is not a break even trade. I like this. This is a good reaction. 3 minutes probably going to inverse here. Still interested in 3. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. Looks really good. What is the target here? 23-point stop. Take profit is 50 points. So 3 micros wins. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna get the 3-minute here. There's the close. I'll jump in there. And then I guess let's see if we can get to the break even. Did we get it? I think we got it. Alright, so there's the break even. And then I guess I'll just target the highs. Hopefully this isn't a break even trade. Uh, 5-minute is fine too if you want to wait for that. I might add to my position if we get the 5-minute. I'm going to watch ES here for any potential SMTs. I'm kind of hoping that this 1-minute gap can kind of be our buffer, or 30-second I should say, and that it doesn't come back to the break even and we just kind of IO fed this and head back up. That would be cool. Probably could have gotten an earlier entry with that 1 minute now. I'm kind of regretting it. I have a good feel for this 3-minute though. I'll take a confirmation setup here if I get break even. Okay, awesome. Really awesome reaction there. Okay, so we want to find scale targets at 1R. So let's be realistic. Let's say 30 points is going to be our first TP. So there's 1R for that trade. Pump it, pump it. Where's my break even? I'm already break even. My break even was when we tapped into this next 3-minute gap. Nice. Nice. Just keep it pushing. Like another three. How does the average work? Just what? So if you want to add two, that would just split the difference between your two entries. So if you entered here and you entered here, your average will be like, I don't know, 50, like around here. You could definitely start trailing your position, I think. So if you wanted to move your stop and profit to like here, I don't think we should violate this 30-second. But yeah, so far, bang your trade. This just gone straight up, zero drawdown in the trade. Just so you guys know, for full transparency, I did take this on my accounts that I'm close to a payout on. I thought this was good enough. So when I get to my payout target, I'm cashing out. But you guys should hold for the final TPs for sure. If this gets to final TP, it might not. I really hope we get to final TP. That would be awesome. I'm just keeping my break evens the same, so I haven't moved anything. I'm like 5 points away from the payout, so. Bruh. Of course. It's going to start getting difficult here probably because this is the actual like last gap on the 1 minute. Maybe we get a tiny pullback. If we get a confirmation setup after we get break even, they'll still take it. Okay. Did we tap into like a 5 minute there? 3 minute? Okay, wow. Amazing, amazing candle. I hope the macro just accelerates price. Like, that would be insane. No. Nah, data highs is definitely in the cards just based off this V shape. That's why you're going to scale some here and you're going to leave runners for the data high. I mean, power hour can just accelerate here and just send price all the way up. So we're coming into the macro now. We got a minute left. So total 5 cons? Yeah, if you want. I don't know. Whatever is good for your risk. Bruh. I wish this would just hit final TP so I can be done. Alright, here's 250. Let's see where the 5 minutes at right now. Alright, so we just created a new 5 minute gap. If anything, price might come back to fill in that 5 minute and then, head up from there. So we could see price, maybe break even us and then we get our confirmation set up out of the 5 minute. I'd be cool with that. Or I'd just be cool with, price heading up. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. Dude, I am so close to this payout, man. I think I got it. I think I got it. I think I got it. I don't know. I have to go check my MFFU real quick, but I'm pretty sure that was it. I'm pretty sure that was it. Let me just make sure. I might be like $1 short or something. That would be horrible. Because I accidentally messed up the consistency with these accounts. So that's why I'm like, I'm not sure if I got it. But I'm pretty sure I did. Oh my god, I did it. Okay, cool. I am $1 over what I needed. Awesome. All right, cool. Payout secure. Nice, nice. Let's go. Got it done today. All right, I'm gonna close those out then, I guess. You've never heard me so emotional, dude. June was a rough month, man. I'm just glad I could finally get my profit from it. So, I don't know. A little emotional for sure. It's always exciting to get a payout. I don't know. However many payouts later, it's still, it's like Christmas. As far as you guys go, obviously we're about to hit that 1R, so up to you if you'd like to scale. I'd say wait for this high. I feel like, these are relative equal highs here. We should see them hit. Maybe you scale a few ticks early, so maybe your first scale is at 880. But yeah, banger PM trade. Let's go. As far as the 1 minute entry there, how much did we miss out on? 10 points? Yeah, so we missed out on 10 points from not taking the 1 minute there. I'm okay with that for the extra confidence in the 3 minute getting inversed. But yeah, this momentum up off of the 4 hour was very significant. We get the OB, the breaker there. So yeah, great trade. Really, really awesome. Five-minute, not cool anymore. 5 minutes, fine, I guess. I would just rather be in off the 3 here because you're kind of longing in premium, right? And you had enough confluences there to tell you that that was an SMR, right? See, this is the dealing range. I feel like you're better off waiting for the 5 minute to inverse and then maybe getting a confirmation set up. You were taking a leak, fair enough. Do I know how to take partials? I have no idea. I don't use the Top Step X platform. Okay, cool. So we're 1 for 1 on the day? Sounds good, Ung. I mean, we hit 1 for 1 to 1 there, right? That was 1 to 1. Yeah. So you could scale there. You could, if you had 3 micros, like Ung said, he scaled 1 at 1R, scaled another here, scaled 1 there. It's kind of up to you. Obviously, I'm out of the trade. You guys heard me spam 9 million different clicks to cancel and exit all. Let's see, we got the next 5 minute close here. We still have not closed over. If you're taking the 5 minute, the assumption is that you're going to enter here, go break even at the high, and then TP at the data wick. It's about 1.5R, whatever it is. Obviously, if you're in off the 3, this is going to be your first TP here at 880. And then you're going to target here. So let me actually draw this out. TP1 and final TP. Okay. And then break even. And then, okay, cool. That's good. I know, EJ. Yeah. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to pay for my vacation I'm going on this week. And then some. And then taxes. And then rent. And then I don't know. It's going to pay for quite a bit, actually. Wow, what a way to start the week. All out there. Okay. Okay. I'd still hold for that. Try and make it a 2-hour trade, but for sure. What's MFFU's max allocation? I think you can get like 18K in drawdown on the 150K accounts. I think it's 6K each. What do I think the chances are of hitting the data high? If we get some expansion here at 3 o'clock, like quite a bit, I think it's a pretty good probability on. Yeah, for sure, EJ. Like I think scaling there is absolutely fine. You know, you miss out on those 3 points, but it's 1R away, right? That's what we talked about. Scaling at, you know, as long as you're up at least 1R without the liquidity target. For sure. So 5-minute close is going to be coming up in about a minute and a half here. Do you guys see why I didn't wait for the 3-minute? And originally when I was looking at the 3-minute trade, I said I wanted to wait for the 5, but because we got all of these other confluences to give us that confirmation of the SMR, I could just enter the 3-minute there, and that was good enough for me. It's these added confluences that like give me conviction in the trade. So there's the first TP. Okay, Tag. There's always going to be more trades, man. There's always going to be more trades. So even if you miss this one, you know, there will probably be a trade tomorrow that we get or the next day.
Yo,
Yo.
hello? Do you
Oh,
guys
wait.
what entry did you take?
My bad. What's going on?
What entry did you take?
The 3-minute?
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, dude, that manipulation like was textbook, bro.
Yep.
I would have taken that 1 minute. Hey, one second, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yo. 1 second.
Bro. I was waiting for that. I would have taken the 1 minute. Bro, it's 10 points. I'm okay. It's fine. Like, I think this is actually technically better risk to reward, right? Or maybe not. Because where we got the close. Yeah, so this was like 35 points of risk. The 3-minute was like 30. So technically this is probably better. But I don't know. It is what it is. 3-minute there gave me the conviction I needed, so that's all that matters. I didn't have the conviction there with just the 1 minute. Why not the soup? You could have taken the soup. If you're still in, where would you trail your stop? Below this 1 minute here. There's really no reason why price should come back unless there's like an unfilled 5. Okay, so there's unfilled 5s everywhere. I don't know. I feel like if we get a bearish reaction to that and we violate this 1 minute, that's probably a bad sign. You're probably better off waiting for a confirmation entry if we violate this. So maybe you have your stop trail to like, I don't know, below this, like there. Data high is protected? Yes, but we swept sell side, right? So what's the condition for something to become no longer protected? What's up, Exano? right? If we sweep out sell side. So because we swept out sell side, this is no longer protected. We can target that. All right. We're just going. So obviously there's the break even for the 5 minute, but I don't know. You want to hold to the data high, but just seems unrealistic. Okay, so trail your stop and have a runner. Worst case scenario, it doesn't hit and you get stopped out in profit. Best case scenario, you make an extra. What would this be? $100 per con from right here. Wow, what a trade. Yeah, I did the same thing, but I did it so I could get the payout, which like I'm not gonna care. Like, yes, I probably should have held, right? But that's still the thing I have issues with is my exits, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna care more about securing the payout versus, the extra profit on top. Because if it comes back, well, then there goes the payout, right? And I think I TP just around 1R, which is still fine. Yeah, it will be, Con. I accidentally started the recording late, but all the important stuff that we talked about regarding this trade will be there. Bad reaction? Yeah, bad reaction for sure. Right, because we inversed that 1 minute to the left, which was important. But what are we running into right now? Not really anything. We're probably just pulling back, right? Because we left so much inefficiencies behind. Yeah, for sure, Aegis. Yeah, for sure, Ung. Yeah, with Top Step, it's 200. Let me tell you something though, Ung. On MFFU, all you need is 5 days of $100 profit instead of 200. So if you're ever considering switching from Top Step, it's a lot easier to get a payout there because it's half as much you have to make. So those days where you missed out on the $200 profit would have actually counted with MFFU. Nice whale. That's weird, Bomble. Where's a good place to trail stop? I already said I think below this 1 minute gap. I really don't think price should violate this. If it does, I think we're going to head lower and probably go to this low here, which is going to be your break even anyway. Or whatever, right? And then if we violate this and we get a confirmation setup, you can just re-enter, right? So like I do think that this 1 minute shouldn't be violated, but maybe gauge the reaction to like this first 5 minute. If we just come down, grab the devil's mark, and then shoot right back up, then maybe stay in. If we don't do that and we kind of start to fall a little bit more after the 1 minute inverse, then maybe cut the trade, right? So just gauge the reaction of the devil's mark here, gauge the 1 minute gap, and then if it's obviously bearish, then cut it, and then just try and get a re-entry on a confirmation setup. Yeah, you didn't really have to care about the external gap. I just wanted to wait for the 3 minute because it would give us the extra. It would give me extra conviction with the breaker and the OB because we've been so bearish all day, right? That I kind of need some extra conviction as far as flipping order flow. And so when we have the 1 minute there, I just don't have the conviction as far as order flow goes, right? And I'm of the mindset this is going to be a break even trade. Obviously, it's that one scenario where we barely missed the break even by a few ticks, but I feel like this is going to be a break even trade most of the time. I think the reason why it wasn't is just because we were so incredibly bullish, and then when we got the close there, I mentioned before, it's actually better that we stalled here before getting the pump candle because this gives us like the extra like opportunity and time for people to add to their longs here. Yeah, devil's mark is when there's no wick. So yeah, we violated this 1 minute. We've tapped in the devil's mark. So this type of a reaction, we would have to like V-shape up right now. If we don't V-shape up, I'd probably cut it. Like if we close below the devil's mark, I'd cut it. Even like right now, like I'd probably still cut it because that's a very bearish soup reaction in hindsight. So like, yeah, that's fine to get stopped in profit here, right? Because we closed below the devil's mark. I think at this point we're gonna go for here now, and then maybe we can get a re-entry, maybe on the 3-minute here. Yeah, this 3-minute re-entry could be good, right? So good place to stop in profit. Because what is that now? Like 1R overall, with the runner being stopped in profit there. And like there, that kind of tells you a bit about order flow. So that's like a good place. So if I add in and then put a stop to break even at the average, does that actually stop to break even? Or like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Honestly, I don't really like averaging in when the average in is in premium. Right? I like to average in when it improves the risk to reward. Did I take this full risk? I took this 3 contracts, so yeah, full risk. From the close here to that. Like, the only time I'm ever going to average in is when it improves my risk to reward on the trade. So, like, let's say, like, here, this is where I would average in. Because if we get this 3-minute inverse to the upside, that decreases my risk to this gap. Because if this gap fails, then I just assume that my other is going to get hit, right? But with this 5-minute, I mean, look at how much that increases your risk by. I mean, technically, you include the inception gap down here. So, like, that's why I'm, like, not really the biggest fan of it. I liked it originally when, like, the stop wasn't crazy, but now that it's, like, a 70-point stop, it's like, okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of something you just got to work on. Like, it's, like, what you deem as, like, I guess, appropriate risk. Like, here, because we have all the keys to the SMR, like, I'll take this with added risk because I have conviction in that because I've seen, like, a lot of SMRs play out. But if you haven't seen that, then maybe, you know, you take this lighter and then you wait for the 5-minute there. The reason why originally I said I wanted to take this 3-minute with light risk if we just V-shape back up is because that's usually the first inverse after a massive dump, and this is a lower win rate. But because we get the manipulation leg, that improves the win rate, right? Because we get the SMR. SMR is just like the smart money reversal. It's just the cyclical pattern that the market follows whenever we're like reversing after the sell model or buy model is completed. So like the pattern typically is like we get a soup, then we get an order block, then we form a breaker, then we form an FEG, then we form an IFEG, then we form, you know, whatever, right? So we have soup, OB, breaker, FEG. You know, was the 5-minute a break even? Yeah, 5-minute would have been a break even. By the way, good stop in profit, guys. You see why I said I wouldn't expect this 1-minute gap to break, and if it did, I would expect price to head lower, probably towards our original entry. It's because this gap is the only roadblock in this dealing range, right? With this being your swing low and this being your swing high. So when that breaks, you assume that order flow is bearish in this dealing range to this low, right? Yeah, if you just basically look at this, I would just look at the starter and starter plus accounts, and that I guess graph, or I guess what would you call this, graphic, you know, kind of details all the rules as far as payouts go and whatever. Alrighty. Yeah, for sure, Whale. Absolutely. So really, really good TP there, obviously for TP1, right? The conservative take profit. I probably would have scaled the majority at that high, just because, as Jiu-Jitsu said, it's kind of a crazy target to look for. Having price pop 150 points off the low or whatever it was. So, probably not 150 points. How much was that? Oh, it was 150 points. Wow. Huh. So this is where we could potentially see a re-entry, right? Obviously, it would have been beneficial if we'd gotten price to like maybe tap 50 here or tap into those lower 5-minute gaps. But if you see a V shape, and price is clearly bullish on the lower time frame, this is what a potential re-entry would look like, right, with this 3 minutes. So that's kind of where I would look at right now if you want to get back in the trade, if you have conviction in this high getting hit during the 3 o'clock macro. But unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to wrap up. Obviously, if you're green from this, like if you made like $200 plus, maybe call it. If you're less than that, maybe you risk what you made on this trade, because I don't think this is a lot of risk, right? It's only like, what, 10 points? Yeah, 13 points. 15 points of your Marlin. And then take profit is like 4R. So 5-minute inverse to the downside. Yeah, but just because this singular 5-minute gets inversed here doesn't mean that order flow is bearish, right? Because we still have these gaps in series holding price. We tap the 10-minute. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, time is fractal. We're good to go. There we go, 3-minute long. I would rate this an A setup. This is a good confirmation long, right? Assuming that this is a good draw. But yeah, I really do probably have to get going here shortly. Dude, this traffic is going to be so bad. Is it ever possible for a confirmation setup to be A plus? Yes, only when we form like a down leg like this, right? Where we form like an ITL, and then price resweeps that, and then we get our confirmation like that. That's when it can be A plus. And ideally, this resweep actually ends up hitting like 50% or like a 15-minute unfilled gap or something like that. We had one the other day, like 2 weeks ago, I think. It was like a 30-second long that was pretty good. But yeah, I think I'm going to hop off here. We've been live for just over 2.5 hours now. We got our win, so that's what matters to me. We got our winning trade before I hopped off. So if anyone has any more questions, shoot me a DM. I'll make sure to send everyone who wanted that PDF that before I head out. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you all tomorrow during AM stream for AM because I'm covering for Dodgy. And peace out, everyone. Why? I don't remember. I think Dodgy's doing something. All right. Peace.